Okay. Show me.
Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the DWDR channel. And what do I have for you today? Well, this is actually an old Tricopter. It is the RCExplorer version 3, full size if you want, Tricopter. And yeah, it's an old Tricopter, but it still flies very well and I enjoy flying it. And let's see, yeah, it has an HS1177 FPV camera, which does well. It's a CCD camera, provides good footage, but it doesn't have an OSD. The entire Tricopter does not have provisions for an OSD. It is a NACE32 flight controller and it's embedded into the central frame. So yeah, so what I want to do is upgrade it to it having an OSD. I've crashed this Tricopter a few times just because I ran out of juice, right? That happens. So I want to have some feedback on the battery status. So let's see what I've gotten to do that. There, a little black box. That's what I've gotten to upgrade the Tricopter. It is a box from Foxeer. And let's have a look. It contains, or it should contain, a Foxeer Aero version 3, and I'm expecting around the same level of output, the same image quality. It is also a CCD camera, 600 TVL, and let's see, yeah, this one does operate in a wider voltage range, 5 to 40 volts. That's actually incredible. Huh. And let's see, it has a 2.45mm lens. I'm not sure if that'll be appropriate for this build. For a racing quadcopter this would be a nice lens probably. But I'll just test it with the sublight lens first to see if I like this angle. Okay, let's see what's in this box. We've got a camera, and Foxeer cameras use a single connector. The RunCam cameras usually use two connectors, one for the OSD to do the settings on and one to have the rest of the information, the video feed, the power in and out. Yeah, so this one has a single connector. I'm not sure how many pins this. And yeah, that's just fine. This is actually a magnesium housing, so it's not plastic, it's not aluminium. From what I've heard, they weren't happy with the strength of an aluminium housing, so this is supposed to be a magnesium housing, which is nice. And yeah, oh, that lens does look nice. It looks like a RunCam quality of a lens. So a large element, and it's nice that you don't have to upgrade that. That does look very nice. We've got ourselves an aluminium mounting bracket, and yeah, that should work out just fine. On my Tricopter I will need a mounting bracket like this. Obviously, if you'd opt to get this FPV camera for a racing quadcopter, generally you wouldn't need a mounting bracket. But it's nice that it's supplied with the camera. And we have a wire harness and an OSD. And yeah, OSD, yeah, this is the OSD to do your settings with. So it has a couple of buttons for the menu, and this is the wire harness to connect the camera onto your copter or airplane or whatever you want to FPV. Now, and as you can see, this little pigtail is always connected, and that's your OSD pigtail. So the OSD to do your settings with, this one. And it's nice to have this pigtail. Most modern FPV cameras, well, from brands at least, have a pigtail like this, so you can actually reach it. And let's see, there's a a manual leaflet in the box as well. Okay, well, I'm sure it'll tell us how to connect things. Yeah, it does. Okay, well, that's pretty straightforward, of course. So, what I'll be doing next is I'll build this FPV camera into the Tricopter, and then we'll take it out to see what the image footage looks like. Here we go. Okay, so here we go, and the first thing I should tell you is that the camera, the FPV camera, is hard mounted onto the frame of our Tricopter. So the vibrations this Tricopter does have, you'll see those in the FPV feed. Now for this test that's actually a good thing, because this way we can see how well the camera copes with vibrations. And well, you tell me what you think, but I think this is definitely a benefit of having a CCD camera. They generally cope with vibrations better than CMOS cameras. Now, let's see, yeah, you see some screen elements. Apart from the video itself, you see on the bottom left two things actually. One, the cell count, 3S, and the total voltage of those 3 cells. Now, I am flying this Tricopter on a 4S, by the way, but the voltage sensor of the FPV camera is connected to only 3 cells. Doesn't really matter how or why, but it is, so the 3S is correct, and you can move all the 3 screen elements around on the screen to your liking. And actually, when you take this camera out of the box, the voltage will be center down where my call sign is now. So I've moved those around. And yes, so the call sign, you've got a call sign, and you can obviously edit that and move it around to your liking. And you've got a timer, and it's not really a flight time. It starts the count once the camera receives its power. So once it's powered up, that counter will start. And what I generally do with cameras like these is I hook everything up and I just start my flight at, for instance, 1 minute, at the 1 minute mark. That works out pretty well. You can also disable any one of the 3 elements. So maybe you don't want a call sign or a timer. You can easily disable any of the 3 or all, if you so choose. Now there is one thing that's kind of a bit missing here. Let me quickly jump cut to a sample recording of the Runcam Swift 2, which is a pretty similar camera, as you know. It's also a modern CCD camera with an OSD, but that one does have that artificial horizon thing that you can also move around, by the way. It's not really an artificial horizon, but I do like something like a crosshair in my screen. Actually, for both of these cameras, I would have liked to just have a crosshair. Is it something personal? Probably, but it makes aiming for tight spaces easier for me. Yeah, so okay, so back to the Foxeer camera here. Yeah, so this Foxeer camera, the Aero version 3, does not provide an artificial horizon or a crosshair. Yeah, I would have liked that, but it's not a deal breaker for me. Now, yeah, what do you say? I think the screen, the footage this camera produces is very good. I had not expected anything less, really. And if you want the full unedited version of this DVR recording, there's a link in the description down below to my unedited version of that video. And what more can I tell you? Ah yeah, I was wondering if I'd want a wider angle lens on this camera, but as you can see my action camera is already slightly in view on the right. You can see the lens of my action camera. So a wider view for me wouldn't really make sense. It doesn't really matter for this review of course, but for me I'm just gonna stick with this lens. It works out just fine. And that's basically it. Yeah, am I happy with this upgrade? Yeah, definitely. This will prevent crashes. This camera is slightly better because it's newer, I guess, more modern electronics. There is not a whole lot of difference. The previous camera I used on this Tricopter was also a HS1177, so pretty good. But I now have an OSD and that'll make life far better. So yeah, I'll just leave you with the rest of my flight, and if you have any questions or suggestions, hit me up a comment down below. Hope the video was informative for you, and catch you on the next video. Bye bye.